Here we go. Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tech Bits today. So today we're going to be presenting about Edpuzzle, and we're really excited about our presenter. It is our own Amanda O'Doherty. And Amanda is a level 3 mentor teacher with 15 years of experience in secondary and early education. Amanda has a bachelor's degree in secondary education and a master's degree in educational administration. Wow, I don't know where you found the time to get all that done in your short life, but we love you. We're happy and blessed that you're a part of the Region 9 team, and it's all yours.
Thank you, April. Well, I'm excited. I'm glad that all of you got up on this chilly morning to join us for Tech Bits, albeit probably not quite as chilly as it has been the past couple of days for you. But we are excited to kind of go through some Edpuzzle stuff, and we're just going to have time today to scratch the surface. There's so much more that you can do than what we will be doing. But if you have any questions as we go through, April's going to have that chat box kind of going. She'll keep an eye on that for me. But also feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions if that works better. Before we end today, you'll have a pretty decent idea. April, I can't share my screen. Would you mind giving me permission to share?
I just made you a co-host.
Thank you, ma'am.
Can you see it now?
I can. Thank you. Okay, can you guys see my screen all right? Get it in present mode here. There we go.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Wonderful, thank you. And I have to turn my video off or I'm going to lose connection because our internet is still pretty spotty. So we're, like I said, going to look at Edpuzzle today. And Edpuzzle is a wonderful interactive tool that you can have with your students virtually and in the classroom. So it's not just something that is only going to work with virtual instruction. But as we get back in our hybrid models and some of us eventually fully having our students back, which I know is what we all hope for, this is a wonderful tool that you can use in any capacity to kind of enrich and engage your students' learning, but also just to make them active participants. And there's so many different ways that you can use this. So by the time we're done today, we're going to be familiar with Edpuzzle. We're going to identify ways to use it in a virtual classroom. We're going to get you an Edpuzzle account if you don't have one. We're going to set up your first Edpuzzle, and then I'll show you how to integrate into your virtual classrooms. So you'll have a lot of tools to leave that you can walk away today, play with, and use tomorrow. And we also will be available for any questions via email. You'll get all of our contact information. So as we go through today, we always use expectations. Please feel free to talk back to us, share your ideas. Like I said, but I am by no means knows all of Edpuzzle, so I'm sure there's things that some of you may have done in your classroom that you could share with us, and we could even enrich what we're learning today with that. So please feel free to do that. My cell phone number is here on the screen. We'll also share our contact information at the end. And I know April's going to give you that Tech Bits link that we have so you can ask us questions at any time. And I missed getting that adjusted. So we're not going to set up a Bitmoji classroom. That was my last one. I'm sorry, guys. It's a Edpuzzle. Movement at your discretion is needed, and just participate as much as you can. We always get more out of it when we participate. So what are some things you can do with Edpuzzle? It's so versatile and so many tools are built into Edpuzzle. It's kind of just a one-stop shop almost. You can integrate it with your LEA and your LMS systems. It's used for professional development. I do mentoring across the state, and if I have someone that comes in late or misses the session, we use Edpuzzle for adults as well. You can curate your own curriculum, edit your content, build assessment, and then they've integrated with National Geographic and Khan Academy and TED Talks and YouTube. There's so many different ways you can utilize this. So what we're going to look at really quickly is what we can do with Edpuzzle. I'm going to give you a few tips. We're going to kind of go through these pretty quickly. The links are all at the bottom of the pages, so if you want more information as to where this came from, please utilize those links when you get this video link. So you can search videos. So this is a platform and it was created for teachers to be able to use all different kinds of video software programs that are already created. So you can create your own videos, and as you get more comfortable with it, I'd highly recommend doing that because it adds even more enrichment when your students see your face on the screen and can hear your voice. But to start with, you absolutely can use things such as YouTube and Khan Academy, and they're all integrated into Edpuzzle. But if there's a video that you can't find, the wonderful thing about Edpuzzle is you can insert a video just with its URL, and you can edit it and stop it and crop it and do the things that you need to. So it's not always limited to what they provide. It's wonderful to customize. It's super easy. It's very user-friendly, and it goes pretty quickly. So you can edit sections of the video. You can actually cut them out. If you, as the teacher, there's a section you like a lot of what's being said, but you don't like everything, you can actually add your own voice and do a voiceover. And so you can speak over the video and point out specific things. You can pause the video actually and insert your own clip if you would like. It allows you to insert multiple choice questions and open-ended questions. And just keep in mind, I'll say this again, it will grade it for you actually if it's a multiple choice. We can't grade the open-ended for you, but it will grade the multiple choice questions for you. And it does have a prevent skipping feature so that you can set that so that students cannot skip the video. They actually have to watch the whole video and can't skip through it to actually get all the questions. So that's another useful tool for teachers. What if you don't have Google Classroom? Because I know a lot of our schools, I know in our area, most of our school districts use Google Classroom because it integrates very well and very easily. It's actually built into Edpuzzle itself. But what if you don't have that? Well, it's not a big problem because you can actually still add your video and you can still edit it. You can do everything with it. And once you click the assign button, and I'm going to show you where that is, you will have a link that you will be able to utilize to share it. And that way you can do it if you use Canvas or any type of other management system. You can get these to your students super simply just by clicking that generate shareable link button and add that link in there. So even if you don't have Google Classroom, you can still utilize Edpuzzle very easily. How do students access this? And this is one of the big questions that we see pop up quite frequently. If your school's using Google Classroom, it's pretty simple because it's automatically linked to Google Classroom. You can actually import your Google classes into Edpuzzle, and then you directly assign it from Edpuzzle. You don't even have to go into your Google Classroom. It automatically assigns it for you. And when you grade it, the grades pop into the Google Classroom gradebook. So that's very simple. But if you're not using Google Classroom, they can still access everything. You'll invite them to the class at edpuzzle.com. They'll sign up, they'll get a username and password, and they'll join your class. Very similar to how you would join Google Classroom. So it's pretty simple to utilize. It does make teaching easier sometimes. We don't always want to use one teaching method all of the time, and we know that. That's just a good practice for educators is to vary your instruction whenever possible. So while students can stream this video and you can insert different things, you can create questions that are inserted, you can create polls, they can be multiple choice, they can be open-ended. But it also has a preset. You'll be able to select your classroom and your grade level, and they're going to have a whole library of items that you can select from so that you don't all have to start from the beginning creating your own videos at the very beginning. They actually have quite a library of videos you can play with and already have questions added to them, and you can still add more questions or delete questions. And it gives you an overview of the performance of the students as you go through this process. So regardless of whether you're using your content that you create or you're using other content that teachers have created and shared, it's still going to utilize that performance feature and show you how your students are performing overall. And you'll be able to see how individual students have performed as well, so you can see their progress. So we have, in the past couple of weeks, really integrated a lot of virtual instruction into our Tech Bits. And so one of the last ones we did was the Bitmoji Classroom. And we've done Pear Deck, and we've done all different kinds of things. April, I don't even remember all of them. So I just wanted to show you what you can do. This is just one example of what you can do utilizing some of these virtual tools. So this is a Bitmoji classroom, but inside this Bitmoji classroom, I've embedded a virtual field trip. I've embedded YouTube videos. I've embedded links to the full script of Romeo and Juliet. And you have to, excuse me, I tend to default to secondary English because that's what I taught for so long. So this would be what I would teach freshmen, and this would be a great classroom you could utilize if you were doing Romeo and Juliet. So here I have a trailer to the video. Oop, my links are not working. I don't know why. Well, let's try this one. So my links to my video, this was my link to my Edpuzzle. So here you can see my classroom, and I've got Romeo and Juliet. I actually have an activity that I've created for them. And so I want them to watch a video that was actually a video that was pre-done by another teacher in Edpuzzle. And so they're going to watch this video using a notes template that they've already got. And we'll open it up, and this is their Edpuzzle. That link's right there. And you can see, I'm going to move my little Zoom box with all my controls for a second. But all of these little like upside down teardrop, well, they're not upside down. These little teardrop items are questions that have been created. And so as the video plays, it will, and I can't skip it because I'm in student mode. So I can't skip video. They can't go through. They actually have to watch the whole thing and go through, and they answer all of the questions. You can see over here on the right-hand side of the screen that the first one's an open-ended, then there are multiple choice questions and open-ended questions. So this integrates very well immediately into a Bitmoji classroom. I also have a template that I created and linked so they can begin their paper. And so they would click here to begin their paper. If they need help, a video of our class, I've integrated a video of a classroom that we've taught. And it was just a Zoom recording that I had with my students, and we record, or may have had with students. I had it with my mentor students. It's not actually a Romeo and Juliet lesson. And they're able to access that. Here I have a field trip, and Google Earth is a really cool tool that you can use if you haven't played with Google Earth. There's another really neat trick, and it will actually take them to, oh, it's not working right now. There we go. To a field trip that I created, if it ever loads, that works really well through Google Earth. So there's so many things that you can do, and you can embed Edpuzzle very easily, just like this one, just by clicking the link. So adding virtual tools to your classroom is actually pretty simple. You just have to get comfortable enough to play with it. I've given you some sources, and we're by no means done, but we're actually going to walk you through how to create some of these resources, or how to create your Edpuzzle resources. So just in case you need some links, there's a how to teach remotely with Edpuzzle, how to create video lessons and cut a video lesson. So these are additional tools to what we can provide through our trainings here. How to assign them on Edpuzzle into Google Classroom. And then just the Edpuzzle support link, I thought that would be a good link to put in here for teachers. So I wanted you to know these links were available to you, and you were able to kind of go back and review these if you had any questions. And April will make sure that we have this link. She'll make sure you have those. So we're going to play. I don't know if you planned on playing this morning, but we're going to do a little bit of playing. So with Edpuzzle, there's so many, like I said, so many tools that you can use. It's easy to use. It's simple student reports that are going to be reported. You can share videos with your students and your colleagues. And the greatest thing for teachers is that it's free. Now, they do have versions that you can pay for, and obviously you get more tools with your paid versions. But your free version actually does quite a bit. And I've worked with quite a few teachers that have been utilizing Edpuzzle since the beginning of the school year. And the only thing with the free version is you do eventually get to a max capacity, and you have to delete or archive some of your videos, but you can always access them back at a later time if you need to. So let's see here. So we're going to get started. April, do we have any questions that we need to answer before we move on? Nope. Okay. So we're going to.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Pause. So Jennifer Gross says, may you show how to record over? I teach bilingual and like to use my voice for lessons. Are you going to go through
Yes,
that?
ma'am, I sure am. So I kind of wanted to give an overview at Edpuzzle, and then we're going to get into it and play. So that's what we're going to do now. So if you have an Edpuzzle account, if you don't mind just splitting your screen, if you know how to do that, or minimizing this, and you can jump back in a minute, but you'll still be able to hear me. If you don't, let's go to edpuzzle.com. And edpuzzle.com is the link that if you don't have an LMS system like Google Classroom, then your students would just need to go there and they'll kind of go through the same process you're going to, okay? So you're gonna click the blue sign up button and then you're gonna click I'm a teacher. You're gonna have two options and I'm gonna walk you through this here in just a second, but because I've already signed up and I tried this yesterday, I don't get those options anymore. So these 3 steps you'll have to do without me showing you. But you'll click sign up and click I'm a teacher. And you're gonna have 2 options when that pops up. You can use your Google account or provide your first and last name and email. If you are a school that has a Google account and you utilize Google Classroom, please use your Google, your school, sign up with your school email. That's a Gmail. And that will make it so much easier to integrate your Google Classroom into Edpuzzle. If you use your personal email, you can still do it, but there's several extra steps that we have to go through to get it there, okay? You'll type in your school name. If it doesn't appear, just add new school and then just select your subject areas. So I'm going to leave these up for just a second because like I said, I'm not going to have these options because I've already signed up.
Sorry, what I'm looking at right now is just getting started and it's 1, 2, and 3, the purple screen. Were you showing a
Yes.
different screen?
No, that's my screen. That's what you're seeing. And go ahead and go to edpuzzle.com and you can hit the minimize button at the top of your screen. And then just pop up another Chrome tab or.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Firefox.
I've got 2 screens I'm running off of, but
Wonderful.
I thought maybe
Oh,
there's
you're
something else
awesome.
going on there. No problem. Thank you.
Hey, Amanda.
Yes, ma'am.
So Sam Handy just said that there's a pop-up message that shows right now at Edpuzzle granting Edpuzzle Pro for free until the end of the school year for schools
Oh, how
that
cool.
request it. So just FYI.
So I have not played with that because I was too cheap to buy. So you are going to have access to things that I don't have access to because I got into Edpuzzle yesterday and they did not give me that option.
I would
So we'll see
call
if it
them,
pops
Amanda,
up
see if you
today.
can get that free version.
Okay, so one more time, just click Edpuzzle, click the blue button, click I'm a teacher. If you've got a Google account, especially through your school, please utilize that. And then get into your school name, and then you can select your subject area and your grade levels, okay? So with that, I'm actually gonna go to edpuzzle.com. Can you guys still see my screen, April? Okay, I never know when I switch if it's going to switch out for me or not. Okay, so we've got several things here going on, and I'm in Edpuzzle right now. So I'm gonna walk you through the content on Edpuzzle. So if you're kind of curious about features, you're not super familiar, then you may wanna take a second and pause from your playing and kind of watch this for a sec. And if not, if you're kind of familiar, you know all the basic tools, then go for it and let us know if you have questions. So the content is typically when you sign into Edpuzzle, that's the first place you're gonna go. You're gonna get to your home screen. You've got kind of a directional tabs on the left, and then you have your settings tabs on the upper right-hand corner, just like you do with Google, okay? So right now we're in the content. I have a gradebook. Now my gradebook is gonna be teachers because I work with teachers mostly. And I've got my mentees and all different things that I work with here. I don't have anything during the dates that I have selected. I would have to go back to last semester to see things because I haven't assigned anything yet this semester. And I have my classes, okay? And I have the assignments that I've posted, whether they have due dates or not. You can see the classes that I've added. If you archive classes, those will show up as well, okay? And when you're in your class section, you're gonna have some options that you can play with. You can name your class, put a description in if you need to, pick a grade level if it's appropriate, and your subject area. You have an option to archive or delete your classes as well. So if you change classes at semester, recommendation from experience, archive your classes rather than deleting them, because you might want to go back and access something that you had in the previous semester. And if you delete your class, They're gone forever. It's not like a delete, but it doesn't really delete like our trash does. If you hit that delete button, they are gone. So if you have something, you archive a class mid-year at the end of the school year, but you're afraid you may want to access it next year, then don't delete it and just keep it and then wait a little bit before you actually delete that class, okay? So I'm going to cancel here. I'm going to go hit this back to Edpuzzle. So if you ever want to get back to the home screen, you're not sure where to go, just click that Edpuzzle button in the upper left-hand corner. And there's, it's going to kind of show you what's trending. So in general education right now, these are the most sought for or most researched, looked for contents that they have. So if you're looking, this one is Blade Runner, Constructing a Future Noir. And so as you can see, it's 10 minutes long, but if you look over here at the American Revolutionary War, you see there's a 6 with the little teardrop looking thing, the upside down teardrop. And that lets us know that there are actually questions already created for this Revolutionary War lesson. So if you needed something very quick, you didn't have the time to actually add your own questions. And that happens to all of us. There are always times we need to find something fast. So if you just look for these little kind of tags right here, you know that there's already questions there. They're going to have it for whatever grade level and subject area you've selected. That's pretty much what's going to curate on your page, okay? Trending in New Mexico. So we've got, again, Blade Runner, but now we've got New Mexico geography, and you can see there's 7 questions here. There's 19 questions or notes. You can actually make notes that the students have to type in. That's a pretty cool feature. How you can change someone's mind. It's a TED Talk. And so you can kind of just scroll through and see what's available. But say you want something specific. You have the option down here to go to these popular channels that they have added and search, and I love the crash course stuff. You can actually search different lessons based on the platform you'd like to use. So there's some that are Edpuzzle created. It might be a YouTube video or a Khan Academy. And you can see they've got quite a bit here already for you. Once you add your school up here on the upper left hand under content, you're going to have home, you're going to have curriculum. So the curriculum lets you select your grade, your subject area that you are looking at, and whether you're middle school, high school, or elementary. But then once you've selected a school, you're going to have your school content. So any other teachers that may be in your school and they may be using Edpuzzle, you're going to be able to share content with them. So say you're like me, you're an English teacher and you want to kind of collaborate with other English teachers. If you guys post your information, the videos that you create in your school side here in mine's Region 9 or your school district, it may be, I know Mr. Hindy's here, so I can use Corona. So Mr. Hindy creates a video and he posts it in the Corona School District site, then any teacher in Corona School District has access to utilize that. If you're doing a cross-curricular activity and you're doing something that requires all 4 core subject areas, English, science, history, and math, you guys could all collaborate here in Edpuzzle and share videos here. But then you have My Content tab. The My Content tab is the items that you create or items that you've pulled from somewhere and edited yourself, okay? So these are solely yours. And so you can see I've got a fall mentor training session that I did with some of my mentees because I work with the mentor program through Region 9. And so I recorded my session, but I had 2 mentees that were not able to attend that session. So I put this video in Edpuzzle, and then I created an Edpuzzle and added questions. I have 3 questions here, 4 in this one. And so I can send this to them. They can't skip it. They have to go through, they have to answer the questions. And then that verifies that they actually saw the content, okay? So do we have any questions so far? No questions, okay. So I'm gonna go, I love Crash Course. So I'm gonna go to Crash Course over here. And I'm just gonna follow suit. I had that Romeo and Juliet page, so I'm gonna type Shakespeare and see what comes up. So let's see, we're gonna look at tragedies and acting. And if you had a video already that you wanted to add, I'm gonna show you how to do that in a second too, if you create your own video. But we're gonna start with one that's already here so that we have less work to do. So I just clicked on the video. Now, I highly recommend always watching the video through first. For time's sake today, obviously, we're not going to do that. But I would always say, if you're going to pull a video that's not yours, please watch it first just to verify. I mean, if it's Edpuzzle, the content should be appropriate, but it never hurts to double check because you don't know who's adding. So one of the really neat features is I've pulled up tragedies and acting. Okay, Crash Course Theater. It's a lot of fun, but you can see here, there are other teachers that have added information here. And they've added, this one has 11 questions. Mr. Miller here, David Miller, has 12 audio notes. So he's done voiceovers. And Ms. Keating has got a question probably at the end. This one has 4 questions and a video audio note. And Ms. Smith has 12 questions and 1 video note, okay? And then it's gonna give you, it's gonna curate a selection of videos that go along with this also. So we can play with this, and I'm not seeing my editing section here. But as we play the video, and I'm not going to go all the way through, let me get back to my content. Because my editing, I should have editing notes over here on the right, and I wonder if my internet is glitching, April. So let's try this again. Let me just go to YouTube and pull up a YouTube video.
Okay. Yeah, mine is okay.
Do you have controls over here on the right-hand side?
You know what? I was doing something else.
Okay.
So, Mr. Hindi, are you in Edpuzzle, or is anybody in Edpuzzle? I'm sorry, Amanda.
Yeah.
You're looks fine, like but mine is not working. It should have there.
It looks like the edit on the right-hand side works. If you click it, it'll give you editing abilities on that video.
Okay. There we go. Okay, so I just popped up this video. I've got it on this one. I'm not sure what happened to the other ones, guys. I apologize for that. So over here, I've got some options. And I can edit the video, duplicate the video and start from scratch, share, preview it, delete it. I can make it public or I can assign it. So if I want to start with this video and I want to edit it, I click that edit assigned video, okay? And note that if I've assigned it to a class, anything that I edit, even after I've assigned it, is going to change it for all of the classes that I've assigned it to, okay? You can edit the name if you'd like, and then there's settings. I'm going to duplicate the video for myself so we can kind of start, and I'm going to look at the questions. And you can scroll through and look at the content that's already here and double check the questions. So say for some reason I didn't like this, what kind of tone is John Green using? I can click this edit button and I can change the question. I can change the answers. I could delete it altogether if I wanted to. So even though you are using a pre-curated video that someone else has already taught, if you don't like all of the questions or you think it's too many questions or you'd like to add something, you have the ability to do that. So I wanted you to know that was there. When you're done, you click that finish button, you come back, it'll save your edits, okay? Let's go back. I'm going to go back to my content and see if I can go into another one in the crash course and see what happened there. Here we go. This is what I missed. So click that button. And we're going to add it. Well, my settings are all messed up. Maybe it's hidden by my Zoom settings. There we go. Okay, I'm going to click that. I clicked the little button beside it. Down here at the bottom, I'm going to click edit. I think my Zoom was hiding everything. So this is your editing feature. So whether you have a brand new video that you've uploaded or you're using a pre-video that's already done, you have the options here to cut, to voice over, or to add questions. So if you need to cut the video, you just hit play and you find out where you want to cut it. And you can move this over to wherever you might like to cut the video. And you can cut sections of the video out. Now, I don't want to cut this video. I actually really like this video. Say I messed up and I have a cut here, but I don't really think that's a good place to cut. I can undo my cut, or I can reset the video to the very beginning, and you can see those two over here on the right side. I'm going to reset it. Here's your voiceover. I know we had a question about voiceover. So if you can see my cursor, here is your voiceover tab. You click the voiceover button and you figure out, because, well, this one's not going to give us access for some reason. It says that YouTube's terms of service, you have to upload your own video to do a voiceover recording. But you should be able to do that, especially with your own videos. You would be able to select the point. You just take this little dot and you move it to where you'd like to do a voiceover. And there'll be a record button down here that you would hit. And I'll pull up one of my videos in a minute that we created here that I did for mentorship, and we'll do a voiceover. We can also add the questions, okay? And you have abilities to add questions anywhere in the video, and I'm not really sure what it's doing. So we're gonna go back to the beginning. My internet must be a little bit lagging today, guys. So you have multiple choice options, open-ended questions, and notes. So for your multiple choice, if you wanted to do that, you just click the spot where you would like it to go. So say they just talked, it talks about the companies or whatever. It's talking about maybe what the Globe Theater looked like. So you can type your questions. And I can't spell today. Still early, guys. So what are some characteristics of the Globe Theater? And I could type in my options here. Groundlings sat. They actually didn't. They stood. Paid for a cushion. Or a seat. And so I would mark this one here as the correct answer. That one is the wrong answer. I would click save, and that would save it in my content for me. And then you can see automatically that now I have a question here, and it's one multiple choice question. Now keep in mind that it does let you do open-ended questions, but it will not grade those for you. It will grade the multiple choice, okay? So we're going to pause that. Now I can add a note or an open-ended question. The notes are pretty neat. So if you have some notes that are specific that are not mentioned in the video, you can record your notes here. You can actually do a recording, or you can actually enter your question here, or your notes that are specific that you want the students to know. It may be directions on what they need to do with this content. So you would just type your notes in here, click that save button, and I would add a note section for you. Once you've added all of your items, you click finish. Okay. Now I have the options to assign. I can edit it, preview it, do whatever I need to. I'm going to assign it so you guys can see what that looks like. So I'm going to click that assign button. And these are driving me crazy today. So let's see if I can get these out of the way. Okay. So I want it to start maybe tomorrow. You can pre-assign, you can schedule out as much as in advance as you want. So if you're a pre-planner, you can definitely utilize this. I'm going to have it go out tomorrow at 12 a.m. and I want it to be due, give it a due date of maybe the following Wednesday. So they have a week to get this assignment done. Here is a really important feature for me. I love the prevent skipping. So if you toggle this button on, it will not allow them to skip the video to get to the questions. They actually have to watch the whole video. I'm kind of sneaky like that, and I always put a question as the very last thing. So at the very last second of the video, I put one kind of open-ended question, and that way it ensures they have to watch the entire video so that they have to answer those questions, and they can't skip it. You can turn on closed captioning, which is a great feature, especially for maybe some of your ELL students or any of yours that struggle with reading and writing and focusing all at the same time, your ADD students, your dyslexic students, you know, just depending on how they learn, but closed captioning is an option, okay? You have this option to post on Google Classroom. So you can add classes here, or you can add classes in the class section. You see that I've already got a few of them added, and I'm gonna add a new class. It's It's really easy to do. So down here at the bottom left, you just click add a new class, and you can add from here, or you can connect to your LMS classes. My LMS is Google Classroom. So if you don't have Google Classroom as your learning management system for your school, you can create your own classes here. That is not a problem. But rather than your students accessing Edpuzzle through Google Classroom, they would actually just go to edpuzzle.com. But because I have a class here, I'm going to click this Google Classroom button. And I have options of what I want to add to it. And you can select any of these. Because I don't want them to get notified, I am not going to add another class here. But you would just click on the button and you would give it its grade level and subject area, and then you would come over here and tell it to import your class. Once you do that, it's going to pull it into this list of classes. I'm going to assign this. I have like a sandbox practice class that I do everything in, and poor April's going to get notified again because she's one of my students. But I want to assign it to this practice class. So I'm going to click the assign button. I've got start date, and that didn't keep. So we're going to put that as the 18th. We're going to do our due date as next Thursday or next Wednesday. I'm going to post this on the Google Classroom. So I'm going to toggle that button over, and I'm going to click assign. So now it's posted, automatically posted in my Google Classroom. So if I went to that Google Classroom, the assignment would be posted there for me. I don't even have to go there to post it. It automatically did it, okay? So from there, I can go live. I can see student progress. I can pull my grades if I want to. I can download my grades, or eventually I can delete the assignment. Now, if you're wanting to do something like what I did with my Bitmoji classroom, you actually add the content a little bit different. So I'm going to go back to the video. Let's find a new video. I'm just going to click the first one. Prepositional phrases sounds good to me, so I'm going to edit that. We are going to I just want them to watch this video. So I'm going to click finish. I might add a question at the end. So an open-ended question here. We're going to add it at the end. Oops, sorry. In a paragraph. Identifying.
Hey, Amanda.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a question from Holly Mayfield, and it says, can Edpuzzle be embedded into Canvas?
Yes. You just do what I'm about to do right. Well, it doesn't embed as easily as it does Google Classroom. So right now but it does embed. I'll show you how. So I uploaded this video. I've created a question at the end so that they have to watch it. They can't skip it, okay? I'm gonna continue, and I'm gonna click the finish button. So we're going really quick. But rather than assigning it to a Google Classroom, I have that feature turned off, okay? And let's see, let me go back. Share preview, okay. And you have a copy link. This is a preview that you can share if you're working with colleagues, and I'm losing the link. Guys, I apologize. We are going to assign it. We've prevented skipping, but it doesn't have the options it should have. Well, I'm sorry, there is a way to get a link and I can't find it. If you'll give me a second in a minute, we'll look it up while y'all are playing. Because I did it yesterday and it works just fine. And it should be right here. Okay, so I've got it clicked for the class. We're gonna click assign. But instead of posting it on Google Classroom, so once again, let me go back. I figured it out. Uh-oh, sorry guys. I'm losing everything. Okay, so instead of, when you click that assign button, you'll select your class. You'll click the assign button, but I don't want it to go to Google Classroom. I still want prevent skipping. I still want to turn off or turn on my closed captionings, but I'm going to share the assignment here. So this is how you would embed it into Canvas. You click share assignment and you get a copy, you get a link. Okay, so you're going to copy that link. Then if you're utilizing Canvas or any other learning management software out there, or you're just sending it in an email to your students, you click this link, and just like I did in Edpuzzle in my Bitmoji classroom here, let me go back. I just linked it to text. So you can see that I have the link here for Romeo and Juliet. If they click this link, so what I did is I highlighted the text here, and it's not going to let me because I'm not in the right feature, but you highlight the text in your slides presentation and you right click and you do the little link button, and I can show that to you in a second. So right here, I'm going to highlight and I'm going to come to my tools here and insert a link. It'll give me this button. I'm going to keep the same link. It's the same link that I just copied. So I'll paste that in there. I'll click apply. And now when my students come to this link, it's going to bring them to my Edpuzzle. So it doesn't quite integrate as easily into Google Classroom. You just have to get that shareable link in order to be able to utilize that with your students that way. Okay. And so now that's how we share links. Say you've created, do we have any questions, April, that I need to answer in the last few minutes?
No, ma'am, you're good.
So say I have, thank you, we have a video that we want to add. We've created a video ourselves. So you may have utilized Zoom or Google Meets or maybe Screencastify, whatever video recording program you're using, and you want to upload your own content, okay? So you can actually add content here. You can create your own video in Edpuzzle. You can upload a video, maybe it's a student project or you want to create a new folder. I'm going to upload a video. And you can choose a file from your computer or you can choose from Google Drive. I'm just going to pull one from Google Drive. And you'll have to tell it to allow every time as part of their precautionary features. And I have several videos that we've utilized in Region 9. And I'm just going to double click on one. And now this is in my content. So do you see I'm in over here, the my content is blue. So it didn't add it to anything else. It's just in my content. Now it does take some time to upload. So it's going to take it a little bit to upload this document or this video that we just loaded. But I'm going to hit cancel because I don't want to take up space. But what I am going to show you is I have videos here that I have already uploaded. Okay. And so you just click on the video just like you did before. And you edit it the same way that you would edit any other video that may already be in Edpuzzle. Okay. And so I have videos or questions that I've already created that are all open-ended based on the content that was shared in my video. And this was one of our mentorship ones. And so you've got your open-ended questions here and they would answer those. If I wanted to do a voiceover, which here I would be doing a voiceover over myself, but I would select the placing of my voiceover and I would start recording. And we would replace the audio that I had here. It would replace it with my words so that the audio that was on your video would not be heard anymore. It would actually be the audio that you're recording. So you do completely go over the audio that's on the video, but you can record that. You would just click your finish button over here, just like you do every time. You can assign it, click that assign button over here. You can actually, after you pick a class, you can post it on Google Classroom. If you don't want to post it on Google Classroom because you don't use Google Classroom, remember, don't toggle that over. Just click Assign. And then you'll get that option to share the assignment with a link, okay? You can reset student progress, which is another feature that I really like. So say you had a student that was struggling and you wanted to give them the option to do that again, you can reset your student's progress and it will let you do that, okay? So we have about 10 minutes left. I want to give you guys time to kind of play with it or ask any questions that you have before we get off.
Hey, Amanda, Jennifer
ma'am.
Gross has another question. Can I add
Absolutely.
my own documents, then read it and record over it?
So your own documents, read it and record over it. You would have to do that probably to, well, I've not actually created a video in Edpuzzle. I have created my videos either in Google Meets, Zoom, or Screencastify and added them that way. It does say you can add content by creating a video. I've never utilized that feature. I'm not sure how that would work.
You know
But
what?
it
Maybe
looks-
that's something that we can play with before we
think
meet
so.
again for Edpuzzle Sandbox. That's on, what is that on?
You gave me the
the-
dates, but on the top of my head, I don't remember, April. I'm so
I'll
sorry.
find out the dates, but we have a
But you
sandbox time.
definitely can. Go ahead, April. Sorry.
No, that's
Okay, she's going to talk about Sandbox in a minute. We can't let her forget because that's fun. But you definitely can use a program such as Screencastify or even Zoom or Google Meets, and just you record yourself. Nobody's in there with you, and you put the document on your screen. For Screencastify would be great. You can read the document, record that video, then upload that video just the same way by going to My Content, add content, upload a video. And then you can do the exact same thing and voice over it. You can pause it and ask questions and that kind of thing over your own video that you've already recorded and have saved on your computer. Any other questions?
I am not seeing any in the chat room at this moment.
Okay. Well, we are going to hang out. April, I think
sure,
it's all you if you want.
Sure, not a problem. Yeah, so we've kind of started a new series or session. Some of the other teachers and from your feedback that you've been providing to us suggested that you would like, great, these presentations are great, but we'd also like time to work together as educators. And so we have scheduled 2 bi-monthly 1-hour sessions, kind of complementing our presentation time. So right now, Amanda's doing the TechBits presentation. I think I've scheduled it next week. We're gonna have an Edpuzzle Sandbox time. So it's an hour for us to all get together and we do a short 10-minute presentation if you need it, kind of refresh ourselves with Edpuzzle, and then bam, we're gonna either stay in the same room to work together if everybody's kind of on the same level, or if we need to break out into work groups, we will. But you have the presenter, which is Amanda today, helping support this. You have Emmanuel Hernandez, which is our tech person. You have me helping, as well as Michaela Johnston. So we have just this awesome team coming together to provide additional support. And if we can't, sometimes it's been really interesting and organic because we're learning together, which I love to do. You know, if we can't figure it out, you know, one of us Googles it, or we're reaching out to another person who has done that before and getting that answer for you. So it's fun time together. So let me get that information plugged into the chat room for you. So if you feel like registering for these work group sessions, they're only an hour long. You get to work with other educators all throughout the state of New Mexico, and it's very, very fun.
And one of the great things
Um,
about the sandbox, April, that I love is it gives you time to play with the program. So you've got Edpuzzle, you've got a very basic understanding of it. You know, we just barely scratched the surface, but you can take it, play with it for a week or so, and then come back and say, okay, I know it, but I really want to do this. How do I do this? And so that's the purpose of the sandbox, is so that you can come back and say, okay, I've got an understanding, but I really, really, really want to do something like this. Can I do that? And we figure it out together. And so that's a great way to kind of even go deeper with what we're doing. Another thing, I'm going to make a shameless plug, April, for the textbook adoption days. So she gave me permission, so she said I could do this. Region 9 hosts, or we are hosting the ELA textbook adoption days for secondary ed. And so I pulled our kind of website. I'm going to share the screen or the link too. But if you are a secondary English teacher, or you know someone, one of your colleagues that is interested in the textbook adoption days, we have a website we've put together. We've got some really great features. We've got a goose chase with Dr. Martha Burns speaking on day 1. And then we've got 2 more days of just really, really great information coming for teachers. It's totally free. It does not cost you a penny. We have all of these wonderful publishers coming. And you can register directly here by clicking the RSVP button at the bottom and just come to the event. It's 100% virtual. And it's just going to be a great time to get the curriculum that our students need and have access to more than just one or 2 options for content. So it's ELA, world languages, and ELA supplemental materials and world language supplementals. So if you know anybody that would be interested, we're going to share that link too. And we would love for you guys to join us there.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it a couple of ways, Amanda. I'll share it
Okay.
in the chat right now, and then I also want to I send out a thank you MailChimp for those individuals that had to step out early.
Yes.
And so that adds, the survey that they need to fill out in case they want to get a certificate of attendance. And then I'm going to plug in that adoption
Wonderful. Thank you,
day
April.
as
So I'll
well.
just wait for
You
that.
want to do that? Okay. Vanessa Renteria says, thank you for introducing me to Edpuzzle, Amanda.
You are very welcome. We just kind of barely scratched the surface, but it's a great tool to use with your students. So I hope this was helpful.
Mr. Hindu, what do you think? Some of your thoughts? I know that you kind of worked with Edpuzzle a little bit. Oh, very helpful. Thank you very much.
I filled out my survey, and one of the suggestions I had was exactly what
Okay.
you're already doing as a sandbox. Because I thought this is
Oh,
great,
perfect.
introduce it, but we really didn't get a chance to try anything yet.
Yes.
And so that was my suggestion. And then you came back with, hey, we have this sandbox already set up. But that would be very helpful to get some practice. I know it sounds good, but you won't use it until you actually do.
Absolutely.
Right. So this gives us an opportunity. Okay, we've been introduced. Go back to your draw board, try to pull it up and get as far as you can, but then come back to us in a week or so, and then we can really dive into those questions and those struggles.
So I saw Jennifer post that she hopes that she can upload her own things that she's recorded. Jennifer, if you need any help with that, I'm actually going to drop my contact information in the chat box, guys. And please don't hesitate to reach out. I don't mind at all. So I'll put both. Sorry, my computer is falling off the desk. That's not good. But please reach out to me anytime. I don't mind. Send me an email or a text message, and I'll get back with you and we'll get you figured out. So if you have any difficulties at all, let me know.
And Amanda, I'm looking for that adoption link that you shared with me, and
I'll pull it up. I can get it for you.
Okay. I apologize.
So yes, please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions. I think this is the right link. It's not the editing link, I don't think. if that's the right link.